Yes, there we are.
Hello.
Hello.
How's it going?
Good, how are you?
Pretty good.
Nice to talk to you again.
Yeah.
Do you remember me from PAX?
Yeah. I saw the schedule that Alex sent out. I saw your name was on there. I was like, oh yeah, we did that thing at
Gung Ho. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've known Alex and Calvin for a couple years now. Really awesome people.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Supershow, Chris.
Thank you.
Yeah, so it looks like the game is actually working, so that's very good, GQ.
Yeah.
That's good.
Good sign. We got this, guys. So I already went through, Chris. You should be modded in the chat, so anytime you want to just put a link to anything or anything like that, you're good to go. You have complete freedom of things. Don't abuse it.
Alright, so what should we do first? Should we do objective mode or litter box mode? Probably objective mode.
Yeah, if this is the first time you're playing, either one of those will bring you to the tutorial.
Okay. Let's learn how to play Catlateral damage. Okay, so do I play with a controller or do I play with a... Oh yeah, I can. Nice.
Yeah, you can either use a controller or just mouse and keyboard, whichever you prefer.
Chris, do you have headphones in?
Yes.
I'm hearing echo. Oh, are you currently watching the stream? You might need to mute it.
Yeah, we're watching it on our TV and we turned it down, but we can turn it down a little bit more.
Yeah. I just can hear it echoing a little bit and keep things clear. It's just easier to just talk quiet.
It has music. When we were doing the Gung Ho thing, I couldn't hear the games ever because obviously I didn't have like a headset in, and PAX is a very loud area.
Yeah. A lot of the music went in kind of towards the end too.
Oh,
so,
cool.
I'm not sure if any of the. I can't remember if we actually had any music at PAX, but yeah, it's so loud that no one can really hear it anyway. So.
All right. So now all I'm missing is the picture of the cat. Yes!
So do you like, this is your time, Chris. So if you wanted to like talk about your inspiration for the game or like what would be most helpful for people to do if they wanted to check it out.
Yeah, sure.
Why cats?
Yeah, so I love cats. I always grew up with cats, and I made the original prototype for this game in a week back in August of 2013. So 2 years ago, actually like 2 years ago and 2 days. I think it was August 10th.
My dinner's 5 minutes late. Those humans will pay. That's right.
Yeah, so I made it for the 7-day FPS game jam, which there's some other games like Super Hot came out of that, and like probably Archery. So it was made at the same week as those games, and I really just wanted to make a game where I played as a cat. And that's kind of how it happened. It was just like, well, I want to do first person so you can see what the cat sees. And cats don't use any weapons, because all they have is their paws, so I'll just put a paw as, you know, like a gun or a melee weapon. And the thing you do with the paws is just knock things around, so just make it a little kind of like physics playground type game. In very typical house settings, in a perspective that you don't typically see. So yeah, it ended up just being really funny and really fun, and I just kept working on it, and now it's done.
This human's gonna be mad when they get home. So what made you decide to like go with this like cell shaded art style of?
Yeah, so I think a lot of the, like, since I only had a week to put together the prototype, I think it was like the last day, I just like crammed in a bunch of 3D models and just very, simple textures, just because that was the quickest thing to do.
Oh, it's disco!
And then as development went on, it was like, I was kind of thinking of like what type of art style would fit, and I did like the cel shaded art of it, and it felt, you know, kind of like Katamari, very silly, very cartoony, and the gameplay is also very silly, so I figured it fit pretty well. So I just polished it up a little bit and kept it, and I think it worked out pretty well.
Yeah, I think so too. Breaking
So
dishes.
I have to ask, as a cat owner myself, who has a cat that will actually, if I don't pay attention to her, will start knocking things off of one of my shelves. Is that where the inspiration came for that?
Yeah, is this
Your
built off real life
personal-
experience?
Yeah, so my cat growing up, Nippy, he passed away last year at the age of 17. But he had like a lot of health problems too, so we're actually surprised that he lived so long. Yeah, he was, you know, the king of the house, and if he didn't get fed on time, he was up on the counters. You know, he'd knock things over. I know, like, he always loved just any kind of food, so like if we made dinner, we'd have to put it away, or he'd be at it while we were eating. I remember one time we had pizza for dinner, and we went out to the living room to eat, and we came back and the pizza was on the ground, because I guess he picked it up with his teeth and just kind of dragged it on the ground, and I don't think he really liked it, so he just left it there.
Determination. Wow.
But yeah, he was always doing whatever he wanted, and that's kind of the gameplay I wanted, where it's like, you're the cat, no one tells you what to do. You just kind of go around making messes, and you never get in trouble, because cats don't get in trouble in real life, so.
Oh yeah, I got that fridge open now. Or well, I did. Open! This game even seems like it's come a long way since, like, when I saw it at PAX, too.
Yeah, we try to put a lot of polish in, a few different kind of things that you can do to keep it interesting. Actually, also working on an update, pretty substantial update for September 1st release that has a bunch of like indie cameos in it and a few more little mechanics and features.
There's an
bug
NES.
fixes, stuff like that.
Oh, there's an NES.
Oh yeah.
I'm definitely not gonna finish this one in time.
We've got a question in chat about maybe a potential third-person view. Wenyo is asking because his girlfriend has a hard time with first person.
Oh yeah. So that's actually a kind of a suggestion or a question we get a lot. And since the game was made for like the first person game jam, that's kind of where it's always been, like where the core mechanics have always been. And we actually talked about a few months before we launched about actually adding a third-person option or third-person mode in it. But given the very limited team size, it was mostly just me and a few other people helping. We'd need a bunch of reworking of the camera and the mechanics, and also a bunch of new like 3D animations. So we ended up cutting it because it would just take a long time to add in. But yeah, it's definitely something I'm still kind of thinking. If I have time and could find some more help with that, I may end up doing that. Just because a lot of people like get motion sick with first-person controls, or for whatever reason just don't play a lot of first-person games, and they definitely prefer third-person. But it is definitely a big undertaking. So
Can I say I love the fact that you can switch between different cats? That's awesome. This time I'm a tiger cat.
yeah, I think that'd be one thing that'd be awesome. Kind of like I think Skyrim did it pretty well, where you could do first-person, but you could zoom out to a third-person view. And like that way you could actually see the cats a little better.
Whoa.
Am I remembering correctly that some of the cats in the game are actual other people's cats?
Yeah, actually most of the cats are of real cats from like
Was it like
Kickstarter.
backers? Oh cool, that's sweet.
Yeah. So the first 3 cats that are unlocked by default are my cats. So Nippy, the cat I mentioned before, who passed away, and then Will and Lynn, who are actually asleep right now on the floor next to me. And all the other ones are from our Kickstarter backers, and there are, I think, 2 fictional cats, and the rest are all real cats.
Do any of the cats look like Grumpy Cat?
I don't think so. We were thinking about, if we could get some like Celebrity Cat endorsements or cameos or whatever, but I think that like Grumpy Cat's so popular now, it's really expensive to license that character.
Maybe Maru though. There's that. Do you know about Maru?
Yeah, Maru's awesome.
Yeah. Maybe he's not too famous that you could get, because he's super cute.
Yeah. But yeah, we have Fart Cat, which is a from actually another local developer here in Boston. It was an iOS game, I think, that it's true to his name that he just farts a lot. So in the game, normally if you press the F key on the keyboard, you can do like a meow that just doesn't really do anything, but you can just meow at things. But for Fart Cat, he just makes fart sounds instead of meowing. And we also have Mitten from Gone Home as a playable cat.
New cat unlocked. I got Nero.
Yeah, so a lot of all the cats you can unlock by doing certain achievements, and you just get a random cat whenever you get one of those achievements. And there are also a bunch of cat photos on the wall too. I think there's like 22 playable cats total.
Wow.
And then we have something like 230 plus cat photos that show up randomly on the walls, including the playable cats. So there's all those cats, and yeah, there's just a bunch of cats in the game.
It is. If you're a cat lover, this is definitely up your alley.
Yeah, that's definitely, I think, one of the things that I was kind of aiming for, is just like if you own cats or you love cats, you'll like the game. And there's a lot of people who now the game's been out for about a month or two or 3 months actually. There's a lot of like reviews and comments and YouTube videos, and there's some people who are just like, they just don't like the game at all, and they mention a bunch of things that they don't like, and I personally think that they just don't. They either don't, they've never had a cat, or they just don't like cats or something like that.
Oh no, the big TV.
I have to say, like, for level of cat destruction that is possible, it is pretty amazing what this cat is capable of.
Yeah.
Superpowers.
Yeah, luckily we haven't had any cats that have done anything of this magnitude, but
it's not inspiring violence in cats.
It's actually like a cat training program.
Right.
Oh gosh.
But yeah, I think just from like a game standpoint, I think everybody likes just kind of making a mess and kind of like destroying things and not having to deal with the consequences. So it's nice to be able to do that in a game and not have to clean up after yourself.
It's always a good thing. The True Blue is asking if you think that Catlateral damage is a success so far. Like, how's it been doing, I guess?
Yeah, I would say it was a success. So I mean, when I was doing the Game Jam version, I was just kind of doing it for fun, and then, it got a little bit of press along with the Game Jam, just saying like, oh, this is a funny game, and after I did the prototype, I was thinking, I think this game has some potential, so I'll keep working on it part-time. And in like January of 2014, it kind of like blew up on the internet, and it was on like every gaming site, and it was kind of crazy how much publicity it got. And it was like, at that point I was like, well, I think I have to kind of make this a game now, because a lot of people have seen it, and a lot of people want it. So I ended up collaborating with Firehose Games, which is a small indie studio in the Boston area. And so they helped me with feedback and marketing and some design stuff, and just helping me get it out there. And yeah, so far it's been pretty successful. It hasn't been like a huge hit, but it's actually done well for me. So I started in the industry as like a quality assurance tester, and that's kind of like the lowest rung of the game development ladder. So it's nice to actually be making some good money instead of just a QA salary.
What's it like being a QA and then switching over to actually being a game developer? Like, what are the biggest differences to you as far as daily life goes and stuff?
Yeah, I think QA is very straightforward in that, like, you know, you have a game and you just keep playing it, keep doing things people probably won't do to try to break it and find bugs and reporting bugs and kind of, you know, reporting to the engineers and the designers and you know, everybody else basically. And you know, a lot of time convincing developers that this bug actually exists because they don't believe you. It can be, you know, I think the day-to-day stuff is kind of fun and interesting to, you know, explore games in a way you don't typically get to, and exposing all the issues to make sure that the player doesn't ever see any of those. But it gets kind of frustrating just kind of being so low on the totem pole, I guess, and not having much control over the game itself. I mean, even just simple things, you're like, well, you know, I play this game for 40 hours a week and I think this one aspect of it isn't fun. A lot of times, like, designers will be like, well, you're just QA, you don't know what you're talking about, and then they ignore you. So like going to, you know, full-time development, especially as an indie where I have to do so many of the aspects, like the programming, the design, the art, you know, just like the QA. It's nice to be in control of all that stuff and, you know, kind of make the game that I want to make. And when there's something I think that
I'd be so home.
Right,
I'd be so mad if I came home to this mess.
Yeah, it's just like, but it's nice to have that kind of control. But also, it's kind of hard to have to do everything instead of, you know, have the designers do their job, the programmers do their job. You kind of have to do everything at once, which can be kind of time-consuming and difficult. But I definitely prefer it than just doing the same thing over and over again.
Someone is asking if you'll be able to scratch stuff up in the game. My original thought is the game's kind of done already, isn't it? So
yeah. We actually had we had thought about scratching stuff up, and we ended up not adding it because we couldn't figure out a good way to make that work and make it feel good. Because, like, for one, you can't really see. Well, so we thought about like adding claws to the cat paws so that it was actually noticeable that you were scratching things. But like the paw moves so fast and it's first person, so you can't really see the claws. And then actually like scratching things, like kind of communicating that to the player, seemed kind of difficult. Like my original idea was like we put scratch decals on things, like kind of like bullet holes but you know, scratch marks, you can see what you scratched. And it didn't seem to fit with the art style, or like we couldn't think of a good way to make that look good. And then from a gameplay perspective, we couldn't see like what that would do. Like maybe it would give you points, but you know, you're already knocking things over, so it wouldn't really. I don't know. It didn't seem like a very interesting mechanic. So
moon gravity's crazy.
Yeah, moon gravity. Actually, that's funny how that came up. I was the game didn't have any of these events to start. It was just, you know, the same. You have an objective. It was actually like room based. You had to beat a room to open up the other rooms, and complete all the rooms to complete the whole house. So we moved more to like open up the whole house by default, so you have kind of free reign. And I was actually playing a lot of Kirby Air Ride at the time, and because I love that city trial mode. And I was like, well, what if we just add a bunch of random stuff that happens to kind of mix it up and make it interesting. And there were obvious things like, oh, every now and then you get a power up, or you know, the mouse shows up. And I was like, what other things are really simple to change temporarily? And I was like, why don't I just put gravity to moon gravity? And it was just like, doesn't make any sense. But that's just, like,
perfect.
Really
Doesn't need to make sense.
Yeah, it's just really fun to just float around and see how everything kind of interacts. Just because like everything has physics on it, so it's funny to see everything kind of like slow-mo for a little bit.
Is it possible to meow? Well, not with this cat. This is the fart cat that I am right now, so he makes farty noises. But yes, you can, by the press of a button, you can meow, but not with this cat. He's the farting kidding.
Kind of like hidden mechanic, I guess. We don't really call it out because you don't really need it to play the game, but if you walk next to kind of smaller objects and look at them and press the meow button, the crosshair will change, and you can actually pick up objects in your mouth and carry them around. And that's, like I said, it doesn't really do anything, but it's kind of fun sometimes to pick things up and throw them around. And it helps in some situations like the kitchen sink. You can kind of go in and instead of swatting things out, you can pick them up and throw them out. So it's kind of like a context-sensitive button.
What is this? Does he just like have his paw in front of him now? That's crazy. Just like I never even noticed this before. I'm in a log cabin. Looks like.
Yep.
We actually, I think you gave us a couple of keys to give away during the stream. So since people have gotten a chance to sort of see what this game is like, why don't we give away a copy? I'm gonna just run it all through the chat so I'm not distracting you guys. But just so everybody who's watching knows, if you've been watching, you're earning points and you use the points to enter the giveaway. And the giveaway is from Chris, from his heart.
Yay.
To you. As a thank you for you being here. I'm going to fade now.
Alright. So yes, I think it's exclamation point thanks devs is the thing to kill the glowing red dots. Where are they at?
Yeah, there should be a little indicator on the screen that says kind of where they
It says
are.
get it. Yeah, you gotta get over that way.
And yeah, typically a lot of the events start in a room that's not the room you're in, so so they're not easy to get.
The heck, where is it? There it is. It's just here to distract me. Where is it? Where are you, Red Dot?
Yeah, it's a little tricky. The way that the lighting ended up working is it kind of like goes through different surfaces, so it's not always clear. But usually you have to hit where like the glow is on the laser dot.
Oh, it's gone now. So much fun. It's cool to actually get to sit down and play it. When I saw it before, I was like, oh gosh, this is like one of those games that I know is like perfect for Twitch, because like games like Goat Simulator and stuff, just like people love watching just random crazy mayhem, and that's just what this game is to the umpteenth power.
It looks like there's a question, who did the music? So yeah, so like I kind of said, as a developer, I had to handle a lot of everything. But the one thing I can't do is music. So we ended up working with a composer named Brandon Ellis. And he goes by City Fires online. He's actually working with another game, another team that's working with Firehose Games on their game 20XX, which is like a roguelike game. And that game's really awesome. And there I helped
kickstart that game.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, so we didn't have any music for the game, and we were trying to figure out what would be the best, who should we talk to? And I remember the first time I played 20XX, I think my first comment was like on the title screen. I was like, "This music's amazing! Like, who did this music?"
Why is my jump button not working?
So we actually talked to him, and we were like, "Do you want to do some? I mean, you do really good, Mega Man chiptune type music. Can you make music for a cat game?" It's like completely different. And he sent us some samples, and it was actually really good. I think what I like about his music is it's always like very catchy. Like even the samples, like he would whip up a sample in like a day and be like, "Do you like this music?" And it was always like super catchy. And he made it, really fit thematically with the different levels. Like I think like the supermarket level music is probably one of my favorite songs.
I haven't seen the supermarket yet.
So well. I think you. I'm watching the stream at a delay, so I don't. I think you got a supermarket, the shopping cart.
I did. I saw it.
Key, though.
Oh, I don't think I got a key.
Yeah, there should be a key near where it fell that you pick up, and it should give you a message saying that you'll go to the supermarket if you complete this level.
There, I got supermarket unlocked. I think I'm gonna beat this level though. I only have 30 seconds left, and a lot of mayhem to create in that short amount of time.
Yeah, one of the new features I'm working on for the update that comes out in a few weeks is in the litter box mode. It's just like an untimed. You just run around whenever you want. But it's currently just the same kind of system as this, where you just do level by level and you know, just play like that. But I actually added a new menu for selecting levels in litter box mode. So if you want to just play the supermarket, you can go to litter box mode and choose that level to play as.
That's cool.
Instead of kind of trying to find it randomly. And you also can save levels too. So if you're playing objective mode and you find a level layout that you really like, you can kind of save that level and replay it in Litterbox whenever you want. So.
Alright guys, who do you guys in chat want me to play as now? Do you want me to be Nippy, Lynn, Will, Fart Cat, which is who we just played as, Nero, or Chaos? Anyone? First person to say who in chat. I'll play as that cat this time. Chaos? Alright. Chaos it is. Up there yet? Yes, we can. We get to get 420 this time, so that's a lot of damage. It's a lot of destruction. Good thing they gave us 10 minutes.
It's funny though. So the way the objectives work is when it generates a level, since like all levels are procedurally generated, it'll count all the objects that are in the level after it generates it, and then takes kind of like a percentage of that and says like this is your objective, and then bases the time limit after that. And it's funny, I've seen the objective 420 a few times, and people always make a comment about it. They're like, "Oh, is that intentional?" It's like, no, that's just totally the game just doing that.
The game itself is a pothead, not not the developer. Well, maybe, I don't know, but whatever. Back to the game! We're in the disco now! Get hype! I just unlocked an achievement on Steam. So yes, if that was a question you guys had, this game does have Steam achievements.
Yeah, it also has like trading cards and stuff too, so.
God's Tower? It looks like Donkey Kong. So what? I noticed some of these things have like actual names stuff on them. Like, is there any like building bashers? Is that supposed to be like Renegade or?
These are all kind of little prototype Game Jam games that I've made.
Oh, cool.
Like, over the years. So some of them are I think still playable online. Some of them are just kind of ones I made, but it's just like kind of like a mini Easter egg of games that no one's ever heard of. And yeah, I think there's also a Catlateral damage case too that shows up very rarely, which is kind of meta, but whatever.
You put your game in your game? What?
Yeah.
Gameception. the stove. I can open it.
Looks like there's a question. So the items don't have value, it's just the quantity of items? Kind of.
Looks like some of them were worth 10.
Yeah, most items are just worth 1 point. So in that way, it's kind of like just get that many objects. But some of the bigger objects, like the TV, is worth 10. And there's some other special objects that are worth like 2 or 5 points. But yeah, in general, it's mostly just get as many things on the floor as you can.
Someone else is asking if it's partially or randomly generated at all?
Yeah, so it is. All the levels are procedurally generated, so there is some kind of pre-built stuff like the different types of rooms. So there's like a bedroom, a kitchen, a living room, and only certain kind of furniture objects can spawn in those rooms. So you don't get things like the toilet in the kitchen or kind of weird stuff like that. But the sizes of the rooms and the placement of the rooms and the placement of all the objects on different pieces of furniture is all procedural.
Awesome. Oh, also, I just checked. We're on the front page of Twitch. So
Yay!
Yay! Front page.
Front page
Sorry.
height.
Just excited.
Yes, front page, you are seeing me wreck things as a cat. I guess that means our gravity event is over. No more moon jumping.
Yeah, actually, one of the I feel like there's still a bunch of content and stuff I could add to this game, like forever. But one of the kind of bonus level ideas I had was like a moon base or like a space level where moon gravity is just on all the time.
Oh gosh, that would be crazy.
And it's just all kind of like scientific equipment and stuff that you're kind of knocking around in this space station or whatnot. But yeah, that would be a lot more art and stuff. So
Yeah, scope.
yeah, it's a bummer.
Oh, it's something that I actually think is, just to like geek out about being a dev for a second. It's something that I feel is like really common with developers of like smaller projects with smaller teams. Is it's really easy to just want to keep working on your game. It's almost harder to decide when it's done in many ways.
Mm-hmm.
Is that kind of how you feel too?
Yeah, I mean that's one thing that I like before I started working on this game. I studied game development in college, and have been in the industry for a few years. So one of the things I definitely noticed was how even very experienced developers get out of hand with scope and just keep designing, redesigning, adding content, and then the game never comes out. And one of the things about game development is it costs money, and once you run out of money, you're kind of done. So you kind of want to release the game and start making money before you run out of money. And since this was kind of my first game, I was always thinking about that. I want to make a substantial game, but I don't want to make it too small, too big. I want it to actually get finished, because there's definitely value in actually finishing a game as a developer. So that was always in the back of my mind, is keep the scope manageable. We'd have design meetings at Firehose, and that we'd be talking about, oh, we should add this new thing, or add this thing, and the whole time I was just kind of mentally thinking about how this is all going to add up and how it's always going to push back the release date. And
that's
I
smart.
think
just super smart.
Yeah, and I think that's one thing we did really well, was just managing the scope, so that the game actually came out in a good time frame. Because I think for the Kickstarter, we had said that the release date was November or December of 2014. And in October, we were well, we're not gonna make that because there's still so much to do. And then we said Q1 2015. and then it was like March, and it was like, well, we're not done yet, so we need to push it back a little bit more. And then we finally released in May. So yeah, and you know, all throughout those months, it was like, oh, we should add this, and like we're talking about, you know, what if we add like a boss at the end, which is like a vacuum that you have to chase around, and all this like crazy mechanics that would have taken forever. And it's like, no, we unfortunately can't do all this cool stuff because we don't have time. Limited resources. So yeah, that's definitely an important lesson that have taken away from this. And I hope a lot of people can take away from that.
Yeah, that's.
Do power-ups carry over to the next cat? I don't think so. I think it's. Does it even stick with the same run, or just until you're done with that like level?
Oh yeah, the upgrades, the stat upgrades are just for the run that you're on. Because way back when we were kind of trying to do like a roguelike kind of thing, where you would just kind of like do a run and you know, at the end there would be some kind of ending point, and a lot of those mechanics kind of got cut because they would have taken a lot of time. So yeah, all the upgrades are just for your current run as the current cat.
Now, do different cats have different like stats, or are they all basically just the same, other than one cat farts?
Yeah, they're mostly the same, just with different like different paws, different colors and stuff. Right. I think I do still have a system built in for giving cats different stats, but just with all the cats we had, I figured it was going to be a big hassle of kind of testing them all and balancing them all to make sure that none of the cats are kind of overpowered, especially since they're like real life cats from Kickstarter backers. I didn't want someone who has,
like, my cat's not OP.
Yeah, like, oh my, I paid hundreds of dollars to get my cat in the game, like, and he's like the worst cat in the game. I didn't want to upset any cat owners, so yeah.
He's been timed out a couple times. You want to let him know why? What is he doing?
Lay the law down on him, Calvin.
I'm just gonna say, easy on the emotes, so he knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
Oops. Huh? Alana was muted. Sorry, guys. I'm so good at this.
Good job. Oh, there's an upgrade over here.
Oh, Chris, I should actually, I don't know if you're logged into the Twitch thing, but you have mod powers. So if you wanted to, you can actually put in links to things if you wanted to, like, put in like where you can get the game and stuff.
Yeah, we only have a couple minutes left anyway, so definitely promote your stuff.
Yes.
Yeah. If you're interested in this game, you can just go to catlateraldamage.com. Just put a link in the chat. There's some humble bundle widgets on the website. You can buy it there. You can also buy it on Steam. It works on Windows, Mac, and Linux. So it should run on any computer you have, unless it's a Chromebook. Yeah, I think that's about it. Yeah, and like I mentioned, I'm putting together a pretty big update for September 1st that has a bunch of special objects to knock over and a few little features and bug fixes, and also Japanese localization too, if you speak Japanese.
Yatta!
Yeah, so yeah, that'll be out September 1st. And yeah, I'm also going to be, if you don't want to buy the game right now, I'm going to be putting the game on sale again for 10% discount starting September 1st for a week. So we're kind of doing like a second launch for Japan, since we have the Japanese localization. So yeah, so if you, I use Steam a lot, so I know how it is as a gamer. So if you don't want to pay full price now, you can wait a few weeks. But if you really like the game, I would definitely appreciate if you purchased it. So
yeah.
Also, just to throw this out there, I'm assuming when you get the Humble key, you also get a Steam key?
Yes. Yeah, so if you buy it on the website from a Humble widget, you get the DRM-free versions and also Steam keys. And you can also purchase the soundtrack or a bundle that has the game and the soundtrack.
And the awesome thing about the Humble widget, for anybody who doesn't know much about it, is it actually gives the devs a bigger cut. So you're supporting us more. And we always really appreciate that.
Yep.
Where'd it go now? Need
They're
more?
asking about
No.
laser eyes. Is there any laser eyes in this for the cats?
I don't think so.
Opportunity missed, man. Oh.
Yeah, no laser kitty.
I feel like if the cat had laser eyes, though, he would just be distracted all the time. Kind of like an infinite loop. If he's shooting the laser, and then he's walking, getting distracted by the lasers that are emitted from his eyeballs, then he would be running around in circles.
Statistics, achievements. So knock over 1,000 objects, and I guess that's in one run. Knock over 5,000 objects. Ultra Mess Maker. Lots of cool achievements. Do you know if anyone has unlocked all of them yet at all?
I'm not sure. I think they're all pretty attainable. I know there's one that's like knock over like 20 or 25,000 objects, which is kind of a lot, but
yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if I can see if anyone's unlocked all of them yet. I'll have to look into it.
Oliver, age 24. Some of these are like legit pictures, and then some of them are just like random art. Trisket.
Did anyone in the chat have any last-minute questions to ask the dev before we send him off into the abyss that is the internet?
That abyss.
Oh, and also, when we switch over, we'll be doing another giveaway for the game. So if you do win, be sure to like praise the Catlateral damage.
Yes. Like I said earlier, this just seems like a really fun streaming game too. So if you're a streamer out there and you want to play like an interesting, quirky, fun, zany mess of a game, like, and by mess I don't mean that the game itself is a mess, but I mean where you just make a mess, definitely check out Catlateral Damage.
True Blue is asking if you get a kitty for purchasing the game. I think he means a real cat.
No, unfortunately. Cats are expensive.
But the game is not, so pick it up.
Yeah.